is going to be it. And the question has to be about 20 seconds so that the panelists can answer, and then we move to the second panel. So,
when I have occasions to talk about those topics, because I'm an activist and researcher at the same time, and I'm combining both, I say to Polish women when I have an occasion that, listen, what you did in 2016 with a strike, which is an economic tool to fight for rights, and we applied it to women's rights, human rights, you made a great step forward into creating new tools of fight. And what's very important to know is that we are acting on many levels. So what's happening very above, on the top of it, is geopolitics. And on the bottom, it's us people. We, the people, we don't really understand what's going on the top because we are far away from it. We have our lives to take care of our children, of our families, of our own lives. And to understand well the situation, we have to connect all those levels. And we need to know on the bottom that this is a very important current geopolitical moment. And this is why this is international. And you have to explain to your people that what you do always has impact on other countries, on other movements. So the resistance in Italy is somehow helping people, women in Poland, and in the United States, what we see, what's happening is helping us in Poland and in Croatia. It has impact everywhere. But we need to understand that because there was a talk about 2012, 2013, and Russian engagement, stronger engagement into those issues, and this is not a this is not an accident, because this is the third turn of Putin into presidency, and we have to know that at that time Kremlin is starting two wars. One is Ukraine, and one is on human rights. And there are two hybrid wars at the same time happening. We are part of the second, which is very much spread across the world. So this is a very important war that's going on. We take part in it. And this is a very important geopolitical situation for everybody. And what Marina said, this interconnection and solutions that she was giving are very fine. But as an activist, I would like to add one more thing, that when we build alliances, always let's focus on common points, because this is the weak thing on the leftist side, that we are always dividing and multiplying things and issues, ideas and disagreements. Leave it apart. We have one target, one enemy, let's focus on this. And look for common points, always. Okay? That's my advice.
Grazie Clementina, grazie a tutte le nostre splendide speakers. Allora, adesso potete fare la vostra domanda in inglese o in italiano, visto che abbiamo i traduttori. Alzate le mani, prenderò 3 domande brevissime e poi passiamo al prossimo panel e potrete parlare con le speakers magari in un altro momento. Quindi ci sono delle domande in sala? Alzare la mano? Una qui, uno qui, ok.
Hello everybody, I'm Remy. I'm a researcher and an activist as well, focusing on LGBT issues in Central and Eastern Europe. I'm working on a research project at the moment called the International Homophobic Conspiracy. I wanted to say something about the Russian links because I have a very clear example, but I'm not going to do it because it's going to take more than 20 seconds. I will talk to you afterwards anyway. But I wanted to ask a question because we were talking at some point about that WSF is starting a war and that they are using war language. And at some point somebody, I don't really remember who on the panel, said that we have to do the same. Do we have to do the same? Do we have to use this language of war? Don't we have to use our own language, our language of love?
Sorry, you have also to say who has to answer, because we are really short in time.
It was
yeah, I know it was yours.
Yeah.
My people might have different opinions, of course, on that. So I guess it's Clementina who's going to answer, and then we see. Yeah.
Maybe in other nations you can use different language, But in Poland, our situation is so dynamic that things are happening, you know, at night, you wake up on the next morning and you find out that you are living in a different world. We really have no time to launch, I don't know, a long strategy, because we are always under pressure. And once you are under pressure and you like to mobilize people, because I'm an activist and I'm responsible for mobilizing people to go to the streets, what acts to take out people to the streets, it's a strong language. It's not a language of love. But meanwhile, you know, between those moments, yes, we should create a different narration. But those both are fine to me at the same time. Why not?
Okay, if Marina wants to just make a very quick comment.
Yes, I'm very inspired by the World Congress of Families. So again, let's reclaim our tradition of nonviolent action. Yeah. We know what nonviolence is. We know that it is really strategic, organized way of countering the militarist mindset by equal level of energy. It's about energy. You are completely right. Energy level has to be high. Enthusiasm and sense of engagement has to be high, but it doesn't have to be the militarist language. I mean, my background is peace activism because I just couldn't avoid living in a country that was stricken by war. But I really believe that maybe we really need to take seriously the emotion of fear and insecurity and anxiety, which is being manipulated and abused. And it is a realistic sense of insecurity in the global socio-economic regime of this late capitalism. So I would say, let's be extremely engaged in promoting new ways for people to feel safe. And let's be active, but of course, let's use ways of organizing that are not going to model hatred and paranoia.
Okay, I think there is another comment or quick question, and then we move on.
La mia domanda andava un po' nello stesso senso, perché io ho studiato la Lega Nord per tanti anni e ho visto che ultimamente ha cambiato discorso. Matteo Salvini fa un discorso sull'amore, dunque si presenta in un modo totalmente diverso, questo è nuovo nella Lega, e c'è una similitudine con i discorsi che stanno portando al Congresso per le famiglie. Dunque penso che sia ispirato da quel movimento internazionale in quel senso, e diventa molto difficile per i movimenti femministi di contrastare questi discorsi, perché riprende degli elementi del discorso femminista stesso. Dunque come possiamo oggi ponerci di fronte a questo cambiamento di retoriche? È un vero problema secondo me.
You don't have to get paralyzed by what they do. If they take up our tactics or vocabulary, this is not the problem. It's fine that people speak about love, I think. But of course they are hiding their real intentions. But don't get paralyzed. That's something I would recommend. So we can have two parallel narrations, and if we even if we find some common points with them, I think it's fine, because we can take out some people who are following those guys into our team, into our group. So I would say, I mean, diversity is great. We can have different tactics for different moments in different nations. We need to adapt to what's now, and for tomorrow we can create new tools or, yeah.
I wanted to answer also on behalf of IPPF, as my organization is active all over the world, and actually we do see a lot what is happening and reproduced in different contexts, although people at national level are so far that I think it's just happening to them locally. And essentially the issue around communication and narratives is extremely important. We do know very well that the people who are against sexual and reproductive freedoms and people's intimacy and people's privacy, they have invested a lot in that. And they do speak very carefully. It is interesting what Clementina said, because one thing is what they say in open, in the open space, and they're all about love and caring and children, very moderate, particularly in certain countries, and what they say in private, and that's a completely different language. But definitely, I think that is very important when we are talking, because we are not talking to them, we are talking to people, and people do feel strongly about certain values, and it's not possible to allow a minority with very, very fascist type of, and very strong authoritarian ideas to get the monopoly of things that we all care about. We all care about love, we all care about families, we all care about life, we all care about dignity. Nobody can steal it, so it's very important that we also express this in our narratives, and I don't think it's a problem. You can also demask very often what they are saying to the public and what they are doing, and that's why research is so important. But the most important to me, as it was highlighted by all the speakers, is working on the common ground, but also showing what we stand for in a way that people can really understand in a simple, easy, clear, direct way, and put the right narratives there, so that even if they're overexposed to the other narrative, they will start understanding that human dignity can mean so many things, life can mean so many things, and family based on love, it's really crystal clear what it means.